What's up? We're here. We're talking about the Golden Globes nominations and the wins, giving our thoughts. And we're going to start off with the biggest awards of the night, which is Best Motion Picture. Let's start off with drama. No surprise here. Nomadland won. Kind of a common theme of tonight was Nomadland. Um, it beat out The Father, Mank, Promising Young Woman, and Trial of the Chicago Seven. Nick, what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've only seen two of the other nominees, which is Mank and Promising Young, and I think it was pretty much I think it was deserved. I think it was of this. I haven't seen The Father, but I think of this group. Oh, I also saw we also saw Trial. What am I saying? But I think out of most of it, Nomadland was the most deserving. I think this is already putting it on a good path to potentially winning at the Academy later this year. I mean, it won the Golden Lion in Venice, so I think this only reinforces the momentum it has going forward. So I think it was deserved. I mean, we have our review. Check it out. We both loved it. I think it was deserved.
I 100% agree. Um, there are a few films that I don't know why they're on this list ahead of some others, but I'll be kind and not, if you kept up with the channel, you probably know we have reviews on Trial and Mank, so that'll give you our collective thoughts on those. But yeah, Nomadland was the clear winner. I mean, it's the clear front runner, at least for me, and there's really not much to cover. But the other category in Best Motion Picture, musical or comedy, was really fascinating because it was Borat's subsequent movie film, Hamilton, um, Palm Springs, The Prom,
Mhm.
and I don't even know what music. I've never heard of that.
That was the one where Sia casted Maddie Ziegler to play an autistic girl, even though she's not autistic.
Oh,
Bunch of like just ridiculous issues with that. Um, yeah, that anyway, yeah, that one was just weird. That one should not have been anywhere near an award ceremony at all. Um,
yeah. But
that
Borat
category,
won.
yeah, Borat won. I don't agree with that at all. And I haven't seen Borat, but I'm also like, Palm Springs got snubbed so hard, even though it got nominated. I'm like, Palm Springs should have been the winner. I mean, Palm Springs is like in my top three of 2020. I think it was miles better above everything else there. I mean, like, look, I love Hamilton, but that was just a professionally recorded version of the play. That should not have been there as a movie per se. Like, as much as a
Right.
musical, I think it's awesome. Like, it's just a recording. It's not an actual movie. Lin-Manuel Miranda, as much as I love his performance, he should not have been nominated for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. It just should not have been there. As for the
Agreed.
prom, the prom shouldn't have. I mean, as a musical, like I guess it had to have been there, but Palm Springs should have won. I don't know, like why.
It's not even. It's not even close. I'm. I'm
That's
about ready to go on a rant. I saw Borat subsequent movie film. It's not even close to as good as the first one. Are there moments that are really cool? But it feels like just that, a compilation of moments, and there's no really fascinating story thread. Maria Bakalova, I mispronounced her name, but she's great in the film. Her performance is great, and it's somewhat fun, but it doesn't feel as strong of a social commentary as the first film did, or as interesting as the first Borat film did. Um,
I
and
think
Palm
they're
Springs is such a good film.
I think they were just chasing the popularity vote. I think that's why Sasha Baron Cohen won again for playing him, even though like to my understanding from what I've seen of clips in the trailer, he doesn't do anything different this time around. It's like, you know, like he just got awarded for doing the same thing again, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know like we had a conversation like I mean like the rest of the nominees were like not the best. I mean, James Corden shouldn't have been there. Lin-Manuel, as I just said, and I know you weren't a big fan of the Copperfield movie, which leaves us with Andy Samberg, who kind of just does his Andy Samberg thing, but also like it felt kind of lazy to just give it to Borat when they did the same thing all those years ago for the first one.
It really makes me question. This is a small voting body, if I'm not
Yeah.
incorrect. Um, and I think they may need a larger voting body if they want to have a more prestigious awards because I can't take something seriously. I can. It's not that Borat's a bad film. It's just not. It's very clearly not as good as Palm Springs.
No, Palm Springs got snubbed so hard. It should have gotten more recognition than it did.
And I don't get it. Maybe it's because it's on Hulu. Maybe it's because it came out early in the year. Those are all things working against it, but still.
It's like, I don't know. It should Kristen Milotti should have been nominated for Best Actress in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
I should have been nominated for Best Screenplay, even though screenplay was a tough category, and we'll get to that. But like, it sucks seeing it was similar for me at least to the Lighthouse. Like Lighthouse got like minimal attention, even though it was like really good. And here and like with Lighthouse, I was like, okay, it's like kind of a weird horror thriller-ish film from A24. I was like, I guess it makes sense. Not a lot of people saw, but like Palm Springs had Andy Samberg in it. That alone should have generated so much more conversation for it.
Yeah, let's move on to the best performance in a motion picture. Um, we're
Mhm.
going to start off with drama, which I think is a stronger category. For actor, we had Chadwick Boseman winning for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, ahead of Riz Ahmed, Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, and Tahar Ramin,
Mhm.
um, who I don't even remember what film that's from. But Nick, what were your thoughts on Chadwick winning? Did you think he was deserving, or not necessarily deserving, but did you think he was the top performance of those listed?
I think so. I haven't seen Tahir Rahim nor Anthony Hopkins, even though I hear he was amazing. Saw Mank, have not seen Sound of Metal, but I think it was well deserved. I think similar to Nomadland, this is gonna put him on like some really good momentum. Him and Riz have been nominated Globes, the SAG, and the Independent Spirit Awards. So like it's gonna come down, I think, between those two. So whether or not Ahmed wins, the next time around or whatnot will be interesting. But I think Chadwick deserved it. I really loved his performance in Ma Rainey. He was like you know just one great final performance, like a hell of a thing to go out on.
Yeah, I mean, he's in my top five performances of the year. Riz Ahmed, I think, unless I'm forgetting someone else right now, is my number one.
Mhm.
I think his performance is really next level. It also comes into how I think about the movies when I'm voting, when I'm thinking about who I want to win Best Actor.
Yeah.
If I'm mixed on your film or just kind of meh
Mhm.
or lukewarm on it,
That's
I
gonna happen.
have a hard time putting you over the top. And as much as I really love Chadwick's performance, I am a little lukewarm on Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Fair enough.
Uh, so I think that's what makes me sort of push towards Riz Ahmed.
Mhm.
But I'm not mad at Chadwick. It's a great performance, and it's better than Mank. If Mank had Gary Oldman for Mank had won,
Yeah,
it's a solid performance, but it's not, in my opinion, Oscar worthy at all.
that's fair enough. That's fair.
For Best Actress, this is where it gets really interesting. This is the only I haven't seen this film. Andra Day is a great singer and apparently a great actress too. One for The United States vs. Billie Holiday, which I believe is on Hulu now.
Yeah.
Beating out Viola Davis for Ma Rainey, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand in Nomadland, and Carrie Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. Um, does this spice up the Oscar race for you? How surprising was this?
This I in all my years of watching award ceremonies and sports, I have never seen a greater upset in my life. This was the definition of like dark horse win. I mean, I was talking to another friend. She hadn't even heard of the Billie Holiday film until about 2 hours before 2 hours into the Globes. So like she came out of nowhere. We've been saying like when we did the SAG breakdowns that Davis, Kirby, McDormand and Mulligan were like the locks, and that fifth spot was going to be, the one that people were going to be filtering in and out of. And for her to win one, I think, that's insane because we said McDormand was an easy front runner. We both loved her performance in Nomadland. I think Carrie Mulligan was amazing, promising young, and then Viola Davis is just always ever so incredible in Ma Rainey. And I know you said you saw Pieces of a Woman, and like it, she was the last. And I'm not saying that to like diss on her, and I don't like. I'm not trying to like. I don't think it's a bad performance. I haven't seen the film just yet, but like she was the last one I thought was gonna because she was the dark horse. She was that just filling out that fifth spot for her to outdo those other four is insane. So she didn't get a nomination at the SAGs. At least I'm gonna double check that now. But to my knowledge, she didn't get a nomination at the SAGs, which is gonna be really interesting. Just because like I don't know, that could affect her chances like at further like Oscar aspirations. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was unpredictable. I did see her like react her speech. I'm very happy for her that she got it, but completely unexpected. I've never seen a bigger upset in my life.
I was surprised too, man. I need to see the film, and maybe after seeing the film, I'll be like, you know what? Not as surprised as I would have thought. Um, but I was like, oh, Frances McDormand's a lock. Like, she is too amazing in this film to not get nominated, but or not to not win. But
Yeah,
it's a tough cat. This is probably the toughest category of the Golden Globes and the Oscars. I
100%.
mean, best actress, Viola Davis is in like a normal year, that's a winning performance, right?
Yeah,
Frances McDormand, winning performance. From what you said about Carrie Mulligan and Promising Young, winning performance. And I would say in a weaker year, Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman is a winning performance.
yeah,
Um, so like that category is just really tough. So it's impressive to see Andre Day come through, and I'll be curious to see how this buzz
yeah.
maybe pushes her towards an Oscar nom when before she was kind of on the edge fighting for that fifth spot with the Zendayas of the world.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the BAFTAs have to announce their nominations next. Whether or not they nominate Audra will be like I think a deciding factor. Just because like again, I just checked the SAGs didn't nominate her, so if like the BAFTAs like cover for that, then she could still be in the race. If not, this could be a one-time thing. I'll be really interested to see if she does manage to stay in and she ends up becoming that fifth lock because I think that will just make it all the more interesting. I am excited for her. I am happy for her. Just like did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I think let's move on to best performance in a musical or comedy. Um, for actor, we had Sasha Baron Cohen winning for Borat, ahead of James Corden in The Prom, Lin-Manuel Miranda in Hamilton, Dev Patel in The Personal History of David Copperfield, and Andy Samberg in Palm Springs. I'm just gonna say it Andy Samberg of these five. This isn't a great year for comedy, to be honest, or musicals, but Andy Samberg's the clear choice. Lin Manuel, it's a repeat performance, like you said before. Dev Patel, The Personal History of David Copperfield. Man, I just didn't think that was a good movie. Um, I had a really tough time getting through that movie. The Prom, to be fair to James Corden, I haven't seen, but I haven't heard anyone be like, you know who what you should watch? The Prom. James Corden's really great in it.
No, Meryl Streep in that movie should have been not he should have been the last person nominated from that movie. No offense to James Corden. I think you're a great talk show host, but not for that movie. Not worth it.
Yeah, and like the thing with Sasha Baron Cohen is he is dipping with the fact of trial. I think that really helps push him into people's minds
Mhm.
when they're voting. So I think that's a help, and I think it's a shiny, flashy performance. Even though in the sequel, I don't think there's a ton of nuance to the character of Borat um, that really, at least to me, feels like deserving ahead of Andy Samberg, who I think is really surprisingly great. No offense, Andy Samberg, but I didn't know he had that good of acting chops in him coming in.
Yeah, no, I mean he does his Andy Samberg thing, but like he also gives us a little more, and it's just I don't know. What again, I think in particular for this category, I think they just chased the popularity vote and they were like, oh, it's Borat again. People like Borat, and now here we are. Um, yeah, it's really funny going from the best drama actress to this category because there's such a large, I think, gap between the people nominated and whatnot.
Yeah, let's go on to actress, and we have Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot, winning ahead of Maria Bakalova, um, Kate Hudson, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Anya Taylor Joy. Nick, I haven't seen. I've only seen Borat's subsequent movie films, so I've only seen Maria Bakalova of this category. Um, what are your thoughts on Rosamund Pike winning ahead of some of these other actresses?
So I actually haven't seen any of these actually, so I really do not have much to say other than that people have been saying Maria Bakalova could pull off a Melissa McCarthy and Bridesmaids type Academy nomination for comedy, which again just makes this really Rosamund Pike's win really surprising, just because it's like, oh, here's a here's someone being tutored for Academy recognition, and then someone swept it out from under her. So I don't know how good I care a lot is. I'm not sure how good Rosamund Pike is, although I do trust her. She's an amazing actress. So I don't know how far she'll. I don't think she'll go much farther than like the Globes or whatever. But I don't know. I can't say much about this category other than props to Rosamund Pike. She swept it out from Maria.
What I will say is, from what I've been reading and hearing, and I'm getting around I Care a Lot, we talked about this before the show this weekend, is it's really good, and Rosamund Pike is going to be like that sleeper that may end up getting nominated and slipping in at the last second. The film just came out very recently, so I think it's going to gain buzz. And the great thing about the Golden Globes for people is that it can help a performance gain buzz, get more eyes on the film, because you can't vote on something if you haven't seen it. But I think it may have some momentum. She's in probably pushing for the best actress spot, so it's a tough. There's a
Tough
you
cat.
competing with Zendaya and Andra Day for that fifth spot there.
I think the race for best actress Oscar is it's only gonna the excitement for that is gonna be matched by whoever gets that fifth spot, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of names in play right now that could just snatch it at the last second.
yeah. This is. I keep on thinking how great of a year this is for best actress, man. It like
100.
killing it. But we're going to move on to best supporting performance in a motion picture. For actor, we have Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah winning ahead of Sasha Baron Cohen for Trial, Jared Leto for The Little Things, Bill Murray in On the Rocks, and Leslie Odom Jr. in One Night in Miami. Nick, did you think Kaluuya was the best actor in this category?
Personally, I wanted Odom Jr. to win because I'm a huge fan of him from Hamilton. I also really loved his performance as Sam Cooke in One Night. But I'm also like, I can't be mad at how Daniel Kaluuya like destroyed the role of like Fred Hampton. He completely like went for it. He was completely like into it. So I'm not like upset like that this was the winning one. I just know that like personally for me, I wanted Odom Jr. to win for One Night.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have them as kind of the 1A, 1B
Yeah,
in the supporting category for actor. I have Odom slightly ahead, but I can completely understand going. Kaluuya is still a great performance and really, really deserving. I think if it had been some of the other films like The Little Things, Jared Leto, or Sasha Baron Cohen, or Bill Murray on the Rocks, we would have been having some of the questions we had from some of the categories before. But definitely a deserving one, even though I may disagree on the, you know, I may have chosen Leslie Odom myself.
yeah. This is the one time I think thus far that like we it wasn't our pick, but we're not mad.
Yeah. Let's go into the next category, which is Best Supporting Actress. And Jodie Foster won for the Mauritanian, ahead of Glenn Close in Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman in The Father, Amanda Seyfried from Mank, and Helena Zengel from News of the World. Nick, didn't even know like half the films in these categories. I strongly disagree with one of the actresses even being nominated in this category. Um, do you have thoughts, or do we just want to kind of like move past this and give like the man? I don't know. It's the
I'll,
Golden Globes.
I'll move it. I'll keep it short. Just like she's another dark horse. Like, where'd she come from? Like, I love Jodie Foster. I love Silence of the Lambs, and I love Taxi Driver. But I'm like, where'd you come from? I like it's just out of nowhere. Again, took down another. Um, from what everyone's been saying, like Amanda Seyfried is another big. Seyfried and Coleman are big Academy Award frontrunners. Like, she took it out from under them as well. So I'm like, okay, that's I don't know. I don't know how much farther she'll go beyond the Globes, but like just another unexpected, like, where'd you come from? Her and Audra Day, just complete dark horses.
Right. Let's move on to Best Director. Now we have Emerald Fennell from Promising Young Woman. We have David Fincher from Mank, who's taking shots every time that he lost. Um, Regina King from One Night in Miami, and Aaron Sorkin from Trial. But the winner was Chloe Zhao from Nomadland. Nick, um, deserving.
It's kind of for me, honestly, it's the Kaluuya Odom situation because I do think either Fennel or King could have taken it home, and I would have been okay with that. I think they did an amazing job, King in particular for her debut. But I'm also like Chloe Zhao did a great job with Nomadland. We talked about that so much. We talked about her specifically so much in our review. So I can't be mad about it. She's another one that's like she seems to be a lock. So yeah, I have no qualms about that. I'm really happy for her.
I'm 100% with you. I think she's, in my opinion, it's not close. She's number one. I think just the way that film is directed, from the aesthetics to the visuals to pacing, just to getting the best performance out of an actress, and even non-professional actors getting great performances out of them. I think all that leads into the best director win. Um, it's pretty spectacular. But let's move on to best screenplay. Now we have Emerald Fennell again for Promising Young Woman, Jack Fincher for Mank, Christopher Hampton and Florian Zeller for The Father, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. But Aaron Sorkin won for Trial of the Chicago Seven. Um, Nick, let's start off with this. What do you think about Aaron Sorkin winning for this film?
This is again, this is we're 3 for 3 at this point. This is them chasing the popularity vote. In my opinion, I think, especially after seeing it, I think Fennel or Zhao should have taken it over Sorkin. Um, I mean, look, Trial of Chicago 7 is written really well, in my opinion. I think it's whatever everything Aaron Sorkin does well, but it's also everything Aaron Sorkin has done before, and he doesn't particularly reinvent his style per se. And I think like I don't know, it. I feel like it was just like this was like the safest choice they could have made, and they went with it. I think I think Fennel I think Fennel should have been in particular. I think Fennel should have been the winner instead. Yeah, I don't know. This one just seemed the Globes were like, what's the safest choice we can make? Because that's what we're gonna make. And now here we
Right.
are.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing for me is some of the stuff that I'd want to see on here, given I haven't seen The Father or Promising Young Woman, to be fair, and I've heard the script for Promising Young Woman was pretty spectacular. But I mean, I don't even know if I would put Trial of the Chicago 7 on here as a nomination.
It was
Um,
it's
yeah,
having Sorkin's name there. That's what bought him the nomination. It's like written by Aaron Sorkin. We don't need to know anymore. We don't need to watch the movie. You know it's Aaron Sorkin, so there you go.
watch me put, I'm going to put three films right now that didn't even get nominated, or four that I think had better scripts. Sound of Metal,
Mhm.
Small Axe, Mangrove, unless it's considered television technically.
Mhm.
Soul, one of the best scripts of the year. I don't know if it's because it's an animated movie, if it's because people don't watch animated movies. Like, what is going on? Because that Soul script is so spectacular, and yet it's not getting the recognition it deserves. It's really frustrating. And One Night in Miami, dude. The way
And
that film plays out, it's not just the execution on the directing side, it's the script, it's the one-liners, it's the back and forth that really make the movie. It's the turning a play into a film and still making it feel like a film as opposed to a play,
and
all that stuff.
don't forget Palm Springs.
Exactly. That's the next one I had, Palm Springs 2. And I didn't even bring up The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods is an amazing, like this story and the script of that film are just next level. And you're putting trial into that? Like what?
It's look, I'm like, I think in a weaker year, I think, I know for me at least, I'd be like, okay, fine, that I roll with that. But I think it's the fact that we're just in that situation of there was just so many better options that one didn't get nominated, and two that just like, even in the ones they did nominate, there's two already that I think were way better. So like, they just went with like, they went with the obvious choice, but like not the correct choice. I feel like they just saw Sorkin's name. They're like, oh yeah, no, here you go.
Yeah. And this comes from someone who's like a massive fan of Aaron Sorkin and his writing. But like, I gotta be honest, man, when I don't love a film or don't really like a film that much, I'm gonna say it as it is. Like, it's just the screenplay is not that good.
It's an underwhelming choice from the Globes, which isn't
Yeah.
surprising because it's the Globes, but it's like, damn, really?
Yeah. Every year we hope better, and then we forget that this is what it is.
Yeah,
And hopefully the Oscars don't screw this up, but I have a feeling they might.
I'm really hoping. I think that's been one of. I mean, I think between our conversations, it's been one of our biggest fears. Has been
Yeah.
like surging ahead. Oh God, I just
Yeah.
want just give it to Fennel. If you don't want to give
And
it, no.
yeah. And let's go to best animated feature film. Soul. Yes, this should be a best picture nomination too. It's that effing good.
Moving on. There's no more we need. There's no more we should have to say about that.
Thank you guys for watching our video on the nominations and the wins for the Golden Globes in the movie and film category. Let us know what you thought of who should have been nominated, who should have won in each category. How mad are you at the Golden Globes? I'm pretty mad right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video as well, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.